It got so that every day John and I would go over to the Pigman's after school and have a glass of wine and a conversation.
Where were you today?
I told you I had a Latin club meeting and then I missed the bus.
Did I see you in a car today? When you didn't come home, I went to the store to look for you, and I saw a girl in a car that looked just like you.
No, that wasn't me. My mom is always telling me to be aware of men. I understand her a little. I think the only man she really hates is my father. While she was pregnant with me, my father had a girlfriend on the side. It was nice going to Mr. Pignati's house every day. It got things at home off my mind for once.
John and I got there around 8 o'clock, and we were all ready to watch TV when we noticed Mr. Pignati looked sad, worn out, and sick.
Bobo wouldn't eat today. I offered him a chocolate bar and he just let it drop outside the cage.
I went into the kitchen to get Mr. Pignati a glass of wine and John a can of beer.
Bobo's getting old.
I looked outside to see the snow falling. It dawned on me that it must have been a huge strain on Mr. Pignati to have walked all the way down to see the baboon.
Anyone hungry?
I offered a piece of candy to John. Hypnotized by the TV, John grabbed a piece of candy and stuck it in his mouth without looking.
John, I think now is a good time.
Mr. Pignati,
Yes?
there's something Lorraine I think we should tell you.
Just tell him.
Well, Mr. Pignati, Lorraine and I have something on our conscience that you should know about.
Will you tell him?
You've been so nice to us that we want to be honest with you.
Yes?
You see, Mr. Pignati, we're not charity workers. We're high school kids. We're sorry we lied to you.
Mr. Pignati looked like there was so much more going on in his mind. I went on to explain how it was all a game and how we didn't do it to be mean.
We just had to be honest with you because we like you more than anyone we know. She used to keep the house so clean. Big and shut up.
It was the first time the Pigman had mentioned her in months.
I had them make a cake for our anniversary. Something like our wedding cake was, with a girl in white and a boy on top. She loved me. We loved each other. We didn't need anyone else. She did everything for me. We were each other's lives.
He tried to cover his eyes and turn his head away so we wouldn't have to see him this way. I couldn't help but think of my mother and father, and looking at John, I could tell he was thinking of his too.
She's dead. Sorry.
The TV was still blasting away. I tried to think of something to say.
John, you want another piece of candy?
What kind of candy is this?
Chocolate covered ants.
You never saw anyone run faster to the kitchen singing a laugh. At least there was a laugh out of Mr. Pignati. I could hear John getting the skates from the back room. I knew he'd have to do something to try and top my little ant joke, so when he came flying into the living room on skates, I laughed it up so he'd feel a little better, slipping him the insects. Then the Pigman walked in on the act. You louse. That's how the three of us worked. If one of us did something that was funny, the other two had to come up with something too. Mr. Pignati passed out pencils and paper, so I knew it was going to be one of those games, like the one he had us play where you memorize 10 items. He went on to explain this murder story, and we had to list who we thought was the most responsible for the murder. It turned out that each character represented what you were most interested in. And after Mr. Pignati finished playing the psychological game with us, John started to skate. He skated in the hall and made his way to the living room, where Mr. Pignati and I were watching TV. That looked so fun, I went and put my skates on. Before we knew it, Mr. Pignati had his skates on, and the three of us were zooming around the house, skating. It was really fun, particularly when we started playing tag. We were having so much fun, I just never thought anyone would hurt themselves. John got particularly wild at one point, when Mr. Pignati was it. John was off running up the stairs to the bedroom with his skates on. Mr. Pignati started right up after him. Suddenly, just after a few steps, he stopped.
You can get me. You can get me.
Mr. Pignati, are you okay? Mr. Pignati, what's wrong?
He started to double over, gaping like a fish out of water. Then he pressed his right hand to his chest and fell to the bottom of the stairs.
Mr. Pignati, Mr. Pignati!
door, you guys?
It's kids. Alright, hang on.
What's your name?
Job, you guys.
And yours?
Lorraine and I went to see Mr. Pignotti in the hospital, passing as his children again. He looked amazingly healthy and happy, more alive than ever, even though he had a near-death experience only a day before. Mr. Pignotti asked us to watch after the house until he got home, and to take care of Bobo while he couldn't. It was the least we could do. We happily and willingly accepted. One strange thing about today was that Mr. Pignotti apologized for all the excitement yesterday, when in reality I should have been saying sorry to him. I mean, I was to blame for all of this. Or so Lorraine believes, and maybe she's right.